Welcome to Cartoonist by Night. I am Anthony Laatsch. I am joined here with Gibson, Matt Hansel, and our very special guest, an artist and award-winning comic historian, Emily Mata. How's it going, Emily?
Hi, Anthony. It's going well. How are you?
I am good. When we reach out to our guests, we have them select a topic. What is that topic for this evening?
This topic for this evening, if I can get a drum roll, is Snoopy.
Yes, everyone do the Snoopy dance if you can without knocking over things. Yes, so Snoopy is our topic of discussion. So, in this episode, we're going to draw and discuss Snoopy as well as learn about Emily and her artistic journey. So, what we do at the very beginning of the show is kind of talk about what we plan to work on. D. Brad, now we all know that Snoopy's the topic, but kind of just let us know kind of what angle you're approaching your drawings this evening. What you got planned?
I'm gonna draw Snoopy,
Yes.
and I'm gonna draw it in my style. I'm not gonna worry about being on model.
There we go.
Sometimes I do. I try to be on model as I can, but this time I'm not. That way I can draw more freely, and because since I haven't drawn anything in preparation, so
Yeah. Sounds good. Can't wait to see that. Matt Hansel, what's your take for this evening?
I have this old Snoopy drawing that I did years ago, but it's not on good paper to ink with, so I'm going to transfer this to Bristol board so that I can ink it because I have a pen from the Charles Schultz Museum that
Whoa.
is supposedly from, the stock of pens that Mr. Schultz had after he died. So I'm going to ink it with this pen to try to get that Charles Schultz line.
What a reveal. He did not tell anybody this beforehand. I'm glad you saved it for the show. I like that. All right. Jump over to our guest, Emily. What is your plan for this evening?
So this plan, I think, is going to be a little intense, but it's going to be, or a little bit ambitious, actually, I should say, that it's going to be Snoopy in a fight with the Red Baron.
Nice. And we
Very
see we
cool.
have a little setup there. Is got Snoopy not only on your drawing, but you got some lovely Snoopy hanging out with you there. Always good to have Snoopy as a like an art studio assistant. That's it's always good to see. All right, jumping over to my screen here. Um, so I've got a bunch of sketch cards kind of planned out here of a bunch of different Snoopy expressions. Him as a painter. I got a surfing Snoopy. I've got a dancing Snoopy. I have one that's styled as the Dogman,
oh
Dave
yeah.
the Dogman Snoopy. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm curious how this one is, but a droopy Snoopy. Uh, we'll see how droopy Snoopy works.
Ruby
Um,
Snoopy.
and then, kind of what D. Brad was saying, kind of going off model a little bit. I started just having fun with the ears, and this one I was just kind of really going kind of loose with it. We'll see what happens. I've got a real angry and stern Snoopy, and a lovely little Snoopy peeking over the edge of the sketch card,
Aw.
thinking about
Oh,
love. So those are them, and so sometimes most of the time, I come to the show prepared with everything inked and I color and everything. And I realized, well, there's not going to be much to color this evening if I just do traditional Snoopy, just color the collar or something. And then I'm like, you know what? I'll just come in with pencil sketches, and then that way I can do the inking. Now I know. Also, I didn't reveal this here, but now Hansel talked about Charles Schultz Museum and getting the brush and the pen and everything. And if you would also go to his old cartoonist desk and you look on the floor of art supplies that fell off, there may be a Sharpie or two. And this is a Sharpie
yes.
that is, no, it's not. It's just from my house. I just got it here. So I'll be using a Sharpie this evening, only the highest quality tools. Okay, so that is our setup for the show. So everyone dive into your drawings if you have not done so already. And the best way to kick off the conversation is with our guest Emily and ask, why do you love Snoopy?
That's such a, I love that question because I could go on and on and on about it. But I love Snoopy because he speaks to me. I think It's interesting. I'm seeing some videos like maybe a while ago this week as to why this growing re-love for Snoopy has come up. It's not necessarily because he's cute or because he's just a little dog, but I think it's because he's just so filled with personality. He's got multiple personalities, multiple egos that
Yeah.
he dives into, and they're just so playful and imaginative. And I think that's just one of the many reasons I love Snoopy.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good reason too. Yeah, just getting all the different versions and kind of what we're talking about too, with all the different moods and the happy and the angry and the sad and laughter and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot to explore there. Now, with selecting Snoopy as the topic this evening, do you have any memories of? I was thinking about this. Like, Snoopy seems like one of those characters that has been with everybody forever.
Mhm.
Can you really say that about a lot of characters just being like early memories? Like someone it's if I love the Ninja Turtles, I can say, yeah, I loved the Ninja Turtles when I was a kid, but it always seems like Snoopy's probably going to be the one that is with somebody the longest. So can you kind of talk about if you have any memories of childhood or maybe when Snoopy came into your life that you remember?
I think my earliest memory, I think maybe this is for a lot of Southern Californians, is going to Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh yeah, right.
And like that's where everybody's introduced to Snoopy. I'm gonna say then like maybe I feel like maybe for a lot it's the cartoon movies, but often than not I feel like it's more at Knott's Berry Farm. That's actually where I got this giant Snoopy. I've had this since very young.
Awesome.
Um, but it's interesting because I felt like Snoopy has been in the background, but I think he really came back into my life in full force maybe almost 4 years ago.
Cool.
And for some reason, I got really into collecting. They came out with like Snoopy mugs, and there was like one for almost every season. You'd go to maybe like TJ Maxx or something, and they would have like the Snoopy mug of the season. And I think it's also in the same time where I found out that Snoopy is technically canonically Mexican, and that made me
Yeah.
ecstatic. That made me really happy that there was this like really cutesy character that technically is Mexican. So that I thought that was really awesome. And knowing that there is that sort of hint of history behind a character, especially being a historian, finding minorities in roles that you've never really expected. I think that really made me feel more attached to this character than I was before.
Yeah, and I remember the connection with being, Mexican that I don't know if there was something that was said on this show or if it was just something in the Instagram feed, but now I just was reminded of that. Can you kind of go into detail to maybe for those that don't know of what that connection is, if anyone knows?
Oh
Connection
yeah,
is.
why Snoopy is Mexican.
Yeah.
So I believe it's the director. I hope I'm getting this right. The voice of Snoopy in the movies, and I believe the animating director, or is it the director? I can't recall. Bill Melendez.
Yeah.
He's Mexican, and he
Hmm.
voiced Snoopy in the movies
That's
and
right.
animated him as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to think back if that was something that I found out on this very show or something, but that was, a cool little factoid. So, and then to go into when you mentioned Knott's Berry Farm, is maybe it's just something I don't know with being over in Wisconsin and whatever. But what's the connection there? Is there like a big presence with advertising or something that happens there?
I think it's since so for in Southern California, it's probably like it's part of the two main amusement parks. So you have Disneyland over by Anaheim, but not too far from there is Buena Park, which is where Knott's Berry Farm is. Um, I think what is it? It started out as an actual berry farm until I think I believe it's Walter Knott that's his name. He and his wife ended up creating like a really popular restaurant, and soon after he wanted to make a whole amusement park surrounding that as people waited for their famous fried chicken.
Uh,
And so it really like blew into like a huge thing and filled with amusement park. Believe he also transported old Calico ghost town houses to the theme park itself.
hmm,
So everything's very historically accurate because it is from the actual Calico town.
okay.
Um, but I think as a Southern Californian, that's kind of what you do in your free time is either you go to Disneyland or you go to Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, I usually hear about it if there's like certain actors or comedians that I follow and stuff that they're always talking about that as if I'm talking about Six Flags Great America or something or the Wisconsin Dells. But I always hear of Knott's Berry Farm. So
It isn't the farm also known for its big Halloween celebration every year?
Yeah, it is
Don't they do a
actually.
big, they do like a big presentation and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, they do. They also it's Knott's Berry Farm Horror Night, so I think they also like have actors walking around too, dressed up and scaring people.
you do like a hayride or something, I think too.
I
Maybe.
actually don't know. I haven't, which is funny. I live right by it. It's really like not that far from me, but
Yeah.
I've never actually gone and done the horror nights here, which I believe there's one in Universal Studios as well. So there's two horror nights going on.
Oh, cool.
Jumping over to Matt Hansel, why do you love Snoopy?
I I love him because of his imagination. Marty and Spud is a big part of having a active imagination and living out your fantasies. And Snoopy is unhinged in that way. He's never just a lawyer. He's the world famous lawyer, right? He's never just the pilot. He's the guy that takes on the Red Baron. So yeah, Snoopy emphasizes the need to have a healthy fantasy life, along with a regular life as well.
And for Emily and people at home that don't know, with Marty and Spud being your comic strip.
Oh, right, yes,
Yep,
my comic strip, right?
yep. Just throw that in, because I think Stan Lee always said that every episode of Cartoonist by Night is somebody's first episode of
First-
Cartoonist by Night. I think that
Right,
I think that's a direct quote.
I think it is.
Yeah, yeah. And then same with you too. If you had any early child memories at all, like anything that you can kind of remember, Snoopy growing up.
I loved and still do reading Peanuts in the newspaper.
Yeah,
So that was my first exposure was the comic strip, and Charles Schultz was still doing it because this would have been the early '80s when I would have started reading it. And so it's always been there for me.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
obviously the TV specials, the Halloween special and the Christmas special and all that were always on when I was a kid too.
Yeah, and that's a good point too of just saying it was always there. Like for all of
Yeah,
us, like it was always there. It'd be interesting to reach out, have someone talk about like if they have the memory of like opening up the newspaper for the first time and seeing the very first Peanuts or something, like just to kind of
yeah,
if somebody has that kind of memory.
yeah.
B Brad, do you have that memory?
Not of the very first Peanuts.
Okay.
That's way before my time.
I only say that because a lot of times on the show you say I'm old enough to have seen that in the theater or something. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
just that's for the people that watch every week to get
yeah.
that. Yeah. Jumping over to D Brad, why do you love Snoopy?
Well, I think it's a lot of it for me, nostalgia. Um, it's like good memories of being a kid and having. I too read Peanuts in the newspapers, the comic strips, but also I had the little pocketbook collections.
Yeah.
Um, and I still have my first Peanuts, and Snoopy's on the cover, and on the first page is a picture of him walking down a sidewalk, and then I made a bubble with my phone number in it. from when I was
Uh-huh.
when I was a little kid. And
That's
then
adorable.
yeah, yeah. And I think a big part of Snoopy is merchandise as
Yeah.
well. Like there's he's so popular, not just in the TV specials, and they were special because like, oh, this and if it was a new one that doesn't get played all the time, but oh, that's a brand new one. It's like the Flash Beagle. Like when Flashdance was popular, they made a Snoopy doing aerobics special,
Right, right.
and they did disco back as well, and whatever
And
he adapted to to different times as well.
for a lot of years, he was a spokesperson for MetLife Insurance.
I'm pretty sure he still is too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And another thing um is I have you want to get a close up of my screen here.
Yes.
This one here. This is
Oh,
Is that the
my
Snoopy snow cone machine?
no, I was going to mention the Snoopy
is that
snow
a
cone.
bank?
Big, that was a big thing when I was a kid, but this is a piggy bank.
The bank,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I remember the
And
snow cone machine too, but yeah, the bank, yeah,
oh
that's
yeah, it's
classic.
ceramic. And it shows you how he stays on the house.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's balanced. He's balanced with his
Uh-huh.
ears. Yeah. That
I
never
love
gets
that.
revealed, right? 'Cause he's always drawn flat.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm gonna say two things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Leave your window open at night. Lee,
And it's
just
got
let it. I
buttons.
think it's getting a little too warm, so just
Yeah.
let the window
Yeah, and
open at night.
if you think you
Mhm.
misplaced where that item went, just keep looking and it'll turn up.
Yeah. And so that's my earliest. I also had what do you call them? Viewmasters, Viewmasters?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And they'd have the peanuts, but it was like they were like three-dimensional uh
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
like
Yeah.
here's a picture. I've got a picture.
Okay, stand by for pictures.
Hold on. Yeah, this is
I
a
know this makes
Viewmaster.
me want to pull out my
Viewmaster.
Snoopy comics. I want to get up and like grab it.
Hey, if you need to, feel free.
So you see that, Anthony?
Yes, yes.
You look through them and there's like three-dimensional versions of them.
That's very cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they're
I
like models. Or
was gonna say they look like little like claymation type things.
yeah. And then the other one, so I had a big projector, a Viewmaster projector that would project on the screen. And then I had a record too, because at the time there's a record of the Broadway musical, Your Good Man Charlie Brown.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a song by Snoopy in it, and it's called Supper Time. You know how he does his dance, his supper time dance?
Oh, sure.
Hmm.
So whenever uh like I grew up calling it supper, I know, but when I moved to British Columbia, everybody calls it dinner.
Oh,
And,
sure.
but I still call it supper. And so when it's time to eat, I'll do the Snoopy song. It's supper, 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 supper time. So I go and tell my kids when it's supper time and sing the song and all that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope I can fit this in, but like it's a huge book. I ended up
Okay.
Oh yeah.
thrifting and I was really happy I found it because it's probably the only thing I
Oh,
have that's like Snoopy collection. So it's like a whole book. I want to find, I can't remember syndicate copyright. I think, yeah, second printing 1975.
Oh
So I
yeah.
believe this is, yeah, this is when this was published. This book was in 1975. So I
Oh.
feel very comic historian where
yeah.
I get to say I own
I had
um
a
That's
book
awesome.
beside me that was a cookbook on, but it was like making lunches. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I saw that recently. Our friend Kirby had that. He came across
Okay.
that recently at a rummage sale last year.
Yeah. And it's most that it is Snoopy does appear in it, of course, whenever it's supper time things. But this one I think this is 1970. That one was published.
Well, this is a
Se-
perfect time since we
Oh
have
no,
the.
this printing 74, 1974. The cartoons are from 1970.
Okay. Um, so at my most recent event that I tabled at,
Yeah.
I made one giant purchase at that Comic Con, and by giant purchase I mean it was $1, but I saw this, and this was maybe about a month ago or so, less. But oh, I thought I was on my screen here. I'll do it this way. Here we go. I got talking about the pocketbook digest size. So I saw this here for $1 at a table, and I loved that it was extra like banged up and ripped,
Yeah.
torn corners and stuff. Because I know
Yeah.
that this was well loved, and now it's in my possession here, and it's falling apart as you turn the page and everything. Um, but yeah, just to show some examples of this pocket digest there of some Snoopy. And so yeah, that was a recent purchase of one whole dollar.
Yeah, I like the way they would set it up for the book form. They would move the panels
And look at
around.
this, and just to show you how cheap it is, now I've got two books, just like that. I went one into two, so now I have two copies. So
Yeah, mine looks like that.
everybody's best friend, good old Snoopy, selected cartoons.
Oh, you know what? Another really popular book I used to have, I want to get now. It was the book Happiness is a Warm Puppy.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, look for that one if you don't have it. Aw, good grief, I'm only human. Yeah.
He's just so relatable. He
Yeah.
just gets me.
And do you know he's the official mascot of NASA?
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I knew that.
They would take him to space on the Apollo
Oh,
mission.
sure. Yeah,
Like,
that's right. Yeah, I
yeah.
knew that.
And I think I don't know if they took him on the Artemis 2, but he was in Artemis 1.
Awesome. Um, like most people, not surprising, but some early Snoopy memories for me would definitely be the animated specials, and I love the Great Pumpkin so much, and obviously all the music that comes with all the Peanuts collections and stuff like that. But uh, so I think that was the big part, in addition to the newspaper comic strips and basically everything that we've all said before already. I just concur and agree. And but yeah, and why I love Snoopy, and especially with drawing him this evening, like prepping some drawings, thinking like normally I'll prep anywhere from 2 to 4 sketch cards, and maybe I'll get to half of them and to certain lengths of completion. And then I realized I had like about 10 of them. There's some that I'd even bring to the table because they're real wacky. So I'll work on those off air. But the design of it all, even though, a very simplistic design, I like how and what we're going to be seeing here on the show too, of some things that are on model and off model, like just taking a look at Deep Red's drawing there and just seeing, how adorable little puppy there. And so I like the idea of how fun it is to draw the character, and you don't need much to do it, especially when it comes to like coloring the piece too. That it looks great just in black and white, and so that idea and the fact that Snoopy is just one of the most recognizable characters, one of the most famous characters, popular characters that everyone's. It would be interesting to talk to somebody. We're not going to have them on this show on why they hate Snoopy, because I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing that exists out there, but it would be interesting to be like, no, I never really got it. But when that was brought up, all of us we have the guests choose from. They offer up to 3 topics suggestions, and then we take it to a vote and kind of see what we're all thinking of. And Snoopy was number one on all of our list, even for the ones that weren't here this evening too. So it's awesome that we could have Emily bring that topic to the show here this evening, because now we just get to draw Snoopy for an hour and a half, and it's fun.
Yeah, I have like the entire collection that Fantagraphics put out for Peanuts.
Yeah,
So
that,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really fun to see the evolution of Snoopy and how he was drawn.
yeah,
Uh, it's a really big change. It's a gradual change at first, but I really like the 1960s drawings of him. He's a little bit thinner,
we're gonna
and
see some examples here in just a second. Stay
yeah,
tuned, everybody.
this one here, I like this version of him.
Nice, yes.
And he still could do human things, but he wasn't as human as he became in the in oh, and here's another one from that time.
Oh,
perfect shape of his head there. You don't usually see him in that.
That was something I actually had to Google because when I was looking at the one I
Rendering.
penciled here, where I'm like, oh, I kind of want him peeking over the sketch card, but I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know how many times I've seen him straight on, so I actually had to Google that earlier just to kind of get an idea.
Yeah, and there's him
Oh,
original version.
and then in the one of the cartoons, I don't know if someone knows the answer to it, or where you see like Snoopy with brothers and sisters, like it,
Yeah.
like is that not the most adorable like animation
Yeah.
ever? Like,
He
Yeah.
is.
And his brother Spike, who was in the desert. Um, uh,
Yes, and
Charles Schultz's
Needles.
dog's name was Spike, and so this the dog that Snoopy's based on was
oh
named
yeah,
after.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah. But are you guys interested in the family tree of Snoopy?
I
I am. If
am.
there's
Okay.
ever a time to talk about it, I think this is the moment.
I
Okay.
would think so, yeah.
I'll share my screen.
We'll save that for the Spawn episode.
The what? Spawn?
Spawn, Todd McFarlane's Spawn episode.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant like the spawn of Snoopy.
That was just the first thing I thought of was Spawn for some reason.
Okay, here's the share.
Stand by.
Things you didn't know. All
Ooh,
right, there's his family.
oh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, Olaf. I'll have to keep a memory of that for when I do my Droopy Snoopy. That's kind of what.
Yeah, yeah. I do recognize Olaf and uh being used, but Spike was the one that got used a lot in the 1980s and 90s for sure.
I like the fuzziness of Andy there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Belle's adorable.
Hmm.
Marbles. I've never seen this. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's found
That's very cool.
found that today.
I believe though, I think in the movies he has like two extra like siblings.
Probably,
So they
yeah.
never
Yeah.
appear in the comics, but I
Yeah.
believe Snoopy has like two other siblings that I'm trying to remember on the top of my head. I know Belle is one of his sisters, but he has another sister as well.
Oh, good. Yeah. I really like the new specials they've been doing. The animation's really good in them.
Yeah, I was going to mention
Yeah.
it's at the Apple Plus show. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
referring to?
Sometimes they have specials
Yeah.
too. Like they did a Franklin one that was really good.
Oh, that was excellent. Ooh. All right. So that was a
You know,
nice round of Snoopy talk here, and we'll
I
do
noticed
another.
something though. Sorry,
Yes.
Anthony.
Nope.
Like
I was just
Snoopy.
gonna. No, this is the time to say it. So what you got?
Okay.
Oh,
Bone
Bone.
pretty much is Snoopy.
Yeah, Jeff Smith's Bone.
Yeah. You can put he's a little more human Snoopy. Yeah.
Um,
That's why I see that in there.
as we round out this first cycle of talking about Snoopy, we're gonna. I did some spotlighting earlier, but we're gonna jump into it now to kind of see some progress and talk about it. So Emily is working on the Snoopy V Red Baron, if you will. Here, how's this one coming out for you? What are you thinking?
I think it's coming out really fun. I'm surprised at how much progress I made into it. I'm just kind of letting my mind just do its thing. Um, Sadly, this isn't on watercolor paper, and I didn't realize that, but
Oh,
I think I could try to do something in markers. Or actually, no, I have colored pencils. That's what I was sharpening those for. Um, but yeah, I think it's a fun little. I'll pull it up
Yeah,
a little bit closer. Oh.
especially with being a like a smaller, smaller drawings. The characters being smaller and everything too.
mhm. Are you guys all familiar with the Snoopy versus the Red Baron song that was popular?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Are you going to sing a portion that's legally appropriate to have on YouTube?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Asked and answered.
Some kind of counting in it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more. Something like that.
That's all I needed right there. Is just
I
that.
remembered it.
All I needed was that every episode I try to get a little soundbite from D. Brad that I can put at the end credits. So excellent. And speaking of D. Brad, we're going to check in on his Snoopy and his style. That's definitely in the D. Brad style there. What are you thinking? How you liking that one?
Yeah, I'll go off of that. Now I'm gonna do him dancing, doing a Snoopy dance.
It's very adorable. And we're gonna jump over to Mad Hansel, spotlight Mad Hansel. There we
I
go.
got this Snoopy transferred and inked.
That's
I think
awesome.
it turned out all right.
Do you remember how old that other drawing was?
Probably like 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
You were 3 or 4 years old?
That was very well done.
Yeah, thank you. And then I just started a new Snoopy drawing,
Oh,
him at the typewriter.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Dark and stormy night.
Yep.
love it. All right, I'm gonna spotlight what I got done so far. I did one of the Snoopy dance one there. At the very end, I'll go in and start coloring the collars, but right now I'm just going in with the blacks and getting lines, and not only with the normal Sharpie, but then I did pull out the fine Sharpie as well. And then I started working on the painter one. I was watching a couple of the shorts prior to this episode and saw one him with like a little handheld easel, and I decided I was inspired by that one. And as I was giving him his little like artist handkerchief or bow tie or whatever, I decided to turn it into a heart for the knotted part there at the collar. So I did that, and then yeah, so that's as far as I got there on those. But I like the idea that I've got a lot of drawings here, and I'll probably get a decent amount of them taken care of. And then I'm going to make an executive decision right here live on the episode is that for every episode of Cartoonist by Night going forward, all we're going to do is draw and talk Snoopy. It's just going to be a Snoopy drawing show from now on because this is a blast, and I think we can get at least 100 episodes out of this. So, but yeah, buckle in, everybody. We are now a Snoopy show.
All right.
All right. So, we are going to jump over to our guest. Let me get back to my camera view here. Some people, if you are an avid watcher and maybe listener in the background as you're drawing at home to Cartoonist by Night, you may think, like, well, you know what? We haven't had an episode with Emily on yet, but she has appeared through a question once before on Cartoonist by Night.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
as like a secret origin story, this actually isn't her first time mentioned on the show, but Jevin Loop was on the show, and I was reading some questions that we had for our guest. And then as I was listing off Emily's question, and then Jevin got very excited, being like, well, that's my girlfriend. So that was the first time, Emily has been mentioned early on in the Cartoonist by Night lore, but now this is the official episode. Reaching out to her, we have lots to talk about. The first thing I'm going to do is how I came to know her work beyond just a connection through Jevin, as I was following her Instagram and immediately saw a Kickstarter that popped up. A Kickstarter for Dewey's Adventures, the strips. And for everyone looking here, I've got the physical copy right here in my hand. This was a successful Kickstarter here. And we are going to have Emily let everyone know, not only us, but everybody watching at home, who's Dewey?
So Dewey's my little worm guy. He's my original character that I do weekly comic strips for the University of California, Riverside. But he's also my own personal character where I share internet strips on Instagram on.
Perfect. That's a perfect design. I
This,
love, I love, I love it.
and we'll see some examples later in a slideshow, but just to kind of give you a quick little preview of the first 2 pages or so, just to kind of see what you're dealing with. So, now, when did you kind of decide that when you were doing this character, was it eventually something that was just going to be like a one-off thing, or once you realize like, oh, it's weird to say this has legs. When did you realize that this idea had legs and that you were going to kind of keep expanding on it and kind of talk about the actual, creation of why Dewey's in front of us here today?
Honestly, it all started when I tried to pitch a comic strip for the newspaper. I noticed that for a while I've been an avid reader of the Highlander, and um, I saw they didn't have comics, which was a surprise to me because, of course, like Snoopy, he appears in newspapers. And so I thought, well, why not you know, pitch them a comic strip of my own making. So took me a while, but actually helped with Jevin Loop. He helped me actually name Dewey.
Nice.
Mhm.
Where he pitched in and he was like, "Well, why not name him after the Dewey Decimal System?" And like Jevin, he's
Oh,
really good with names.
yeah.
And I honestly just really liked it. I think it just rolled off the tongue, and I was like, "Dewey's Adventures. That sounds really great."
Yeah.
And and that was kind of like the birth of Dewey. And I honestly felt like even if the newspaper didn't want him, I wanted to keep him
Hmm.
and to do some comics about him. And yeah,
So
he kind of just took off.
you have full ownership of him then.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have to get permission from from the newspaper to use him for other things.
No, actually, it's my own character. I actually had to ask them that because that was something that I was worried at first that,
Yeah.
um, the whole thing about copyright and
Yeah.
who has ownership. And no, they told me that he's my own character and I can do whatever it is that I please with them. They're
Yeah.
just a publisher. They just will have him on print rather than
Right.
claiming them as,
They're
you
just
know,
like a distributor.
yeah.
Right.
I
That's good.
wanted to highlight, I think maybe my favorite one of Dewey going into Artist Alley at a Comic Con here, because whenever Dewey has like a little backpack and a little baseball cap, like it's just such an adorable design, and as you see, they're going amongst cosplayers of maybe characters that are familiar to people there. You uh, see some examples. But like I said, the design of having him wearing a little backpack and stuff is just adorable, and you see that throughout a couple of the strips. But and with what led you to do this as a Kickstarter with having these comic strips? Like, can you kind of talk about how was that your first Kickstarter? Is that correct?
Yeah, that was actually my first Kickstarter, and it started when I couldn't call myself a comic book artist. I feel like I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to our titles in the art
Yeah.
world. Um, because I could only call myself a comic strip artist. I couldn't say that I was a comic book artist. So I thought to myself, well, why not? Why not make this into a full-fledged comic book
Yeah.
of a collection of all the strips that I've done because I've done plenty of strips that could become a comic book. So I just thought, why not?
Hmm. The very first comic books were collections of comic strips.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And as far as Dewey's current adventures, is there any beyond like singular drawings and stuff? Do you still have ideas for comic strips? Is it still going in some way, shape, or form, or kind of talk about what's the status of Dewey?
Yeah, so currently I'm still making strips for Dewey. I'm actually just finishing up college, and so that's been kind of like a slower decline, but I'm still doing it. He's still there. It's just finding the time to do it in my busy schedule.
Yeah.
But I do intend on making a more one-off story about Dewey, about like a little adventure that he goes off with. Just to hint it out there, he might go on an adventure one day soon with his pal Nuke Rooster. So
Ah,
they might do some fun world-saving adventure.
That sounds like it would be something I would purchase. Look at that. Nuke Rooster, creation of Jevin Loop. We past guest on the show there. So, yeah, cool. That's a nice little tease. Um, all right. So, when I introduced the show and introduced our guest, not only with being an artist, but I added something that is a very recent accomplishment and celebration. So, first off, give you a round of applause and congratulations for being an award-winning comic historian. Can you let our audience know how that came to be?
So that was actually a long while in the making, really, and something that I took a while to form, but it started very really early when I first joined the comic book community. I was about 18, 7 years old. I was originally a part of the community probably since I've been 13, but formally tabling, getting to know people like around 18 years old, I realized that the community itself wasn't necessarily built for women. Um, but later I experienced something while at a convention where I visited Jill Thompson, famous comic book illustrator, creator, um, and there was no line for her. And that was amazing. Like that amazed me in a bad way, but I got to talk to her and I'm like, where's your line? Where is like how a lot of guys like Jim Lee or like big names, they have lines out of the door waiting for them. But she's worked on everything you can ever think of. She has done something. She's worked for Marvel, she's worked for DC, she has done even like comics like Speed Racer. She's just worked on everything and anything, and that just shocked me how much. And she had nothing to say to me. She just kind of looked at me and she nodded. And that I think really settled in. Fast forward into the future, I was taking a history class because I'm majoring in history. So I already have like 3 years under my belt being sort of a historian, understanding what does that mean to be a historian. But was taking a class initially about the history of video games, but I
Also,
ended up asking my professor, I was like, is there any way I could do this about comic books instead? I basically would be asking the same questions. It just would be a different medium, really. And she knew how much I love comic books. She knew that this was so much up my alley that she was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let you do your thing. And I was like, well, great. Um, and that just sparked a whole deep dive of something I had already brewing, was like, what are women's roles in the comic book community? Who are they? And what do they attribute to this community that mostly focuses on the men in the community? And so I got to talking and with so many amazing people, so many amazing artists, female artists, writers, publishers, distributors, business owners. They all came up in all different ways, that they weren't just writers or artists, but other different roles that they played. And that came out as into this paper that I did of a collection of interviews, talking to them, but also things that have stemmed back into the 70s all the way to the 20s, of how throughout history we see women in this community underrepresented, but constantly they're sticking up for themselves. They show up for themselves and they have made documentaries about themselves. They have made books. They made whole comic books. I actually have the first original female comic book made by all females. And that took some deep diving to find, but I have it. And I think that
what was that one called?
It Ain't Me, Babe by Trina
eBay.
Robbins.
I was
Oh,
just
Trina
going to
Robbins.
ask if it
Yeah.
was Trina Robbins or not.
Yeah, it is. And that's the amazing and crazy part when you look at history. And she passed away not too long ago, but you know, she was still alive in this time. And you would think, oh, well, it wasn't that long ago, or it was so long ago in the past. It, you know,
It's
women have
recent
come such a long
history.
way, but yeah, it's all very recent history. All the climb of, um, I'm like totally blanking on the word, um, feminism, and trying to make things equal or equality. It's very, very recent.
Yeah. And you had mentioned, not only the papers, documentaries as well, but She Makes Comics, a very popular documentary, one that's cited within your paper, which is available now for everyone to read. Is that going to be up there all time, or is it a limited time thing? Is that going to be
No,
available?
it's an all-time thing. I really want to have everybody able to read this because I want history to be accessible to all people.
And I asked that because I was going to put it as a link in the YouTube video as well, so that way, not that I say this and in a year from now, that's it was like, oh, it was only going to be for 2 weeks or something, but yeah. So for that paper, which you won the award for, and that is available. So yeah, I had read that the other day and preparing for this episode, and then I revisited the She Makes Comics documentary, and I was wondering if I had seen it before, and then about 10 minutes into it, I do. That was from 2014, I think, and I had seen that back then as well. So it was good to revisit that. Um, but yeah, it's
Anthony,
yes,
where did you watch it? Where?
it is available on Tubi, at least for those in the
Uh,
States. I'm not sure how Canadian Tubi works,
right.
but I know it's available there. And I got to look because it's very possible I had bought like, I don't know if it would have been like an iTunes version or rented it through iTunes or something, but
Oh yeah.
you know, back in 2014, it was a
I
probably
believe
watched.
also it's on YouTube as well. That's how I've been
Oh,
watching it is off YouTube.
Right.
oh, perfect. So yeah, I'll have that linked in there as well, along with Emily's paper. But yeah, that's you know, talking about the female creators and stuff like that, there was one show and tell that I have relatively close. Um, I will just be back in 5 to 10 seconds.
I know I should probably go get my It Ain't Me Babe comic. I didn't get that out. I was prepared to bring art supplies. I'll be right back.
Yep, and I
All right.
know I've seen that cover before, and I'm wondering if they had like did some sort of like reprint because I'm fairly certain I read that as well. But we'll take a look at some drawings here just while we wait here because I want Emily to see some of the show and tell as well. But there's a awesome Snoopy dance. Oh,
Nice. Very nice.
love it. And then
La.
Matt Hansel's just reading comics now, just reading.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking for reference actually. I'm
Sure.
looking for a fun Snoopy
Well,
pose.
you want to take this moment for me to share some posters?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Show us all the posters.
This is a Peanuts poster collection book designed by Chip Kidd. He did some really cool Peanuts compilation books about just like the history of Peanuts and the artwork and merchandise as well. I think I showed that one already in that one. He had a smaller head in the 60s.
Okay,
And
so
it's pretty
uh,
sweet. Oh, It Ain't Me Babes here now.
Yes, it
and while
is.
you show that off, according to my digital collection, because I have a copy too, but
Mm.
I've got a different colored cover. So while you show that off, I'm gonna see if I can find mine real quick. So go ahead if
Make
you
it,
want
can you pin her screen?
to. Yes, stand by, everybody. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Yeah, I
Oh my.
think this
Oh,
art's
perfect.
amazing.
Oma is grandma, right? Is that what it is in this story?
I believe so,
Yeah.
actually. This ink work is amazing.
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay.
Dragon.
I know I love this hatching like down over here in the bottom. Like, man, that's so many lines right there. I can't imagine. This
Yeah.
is like predating microns, mind you. So it's like you
Yeah.
have
Dipping.
your dip pen or you have like yeah, you're really I don't think they had Sharpies or anything. So it was just a pure dip pen work right there.
When would that one have been published?
Yeah, they self-published their comic book.
It's 50 cents, so it's got to be either 80s or 70s or
Yeah, it was late 70s, I believe.
okay, yeah. Neat. Maybe.
Now my app showed that I marked one cover, but it turns out I have the original one as well because so I most likely when I saw the documentary in 2014, most likely just went to eBay because this one here has some Sharpie inscription here that says property of E. Warshaw. It says along the top there that based on the copy that I had. So this is no longer the property of E. Warshaw because eventually it went to eBay. But yeah,
Eve Warshaw. It used to belong to
yeah.
Eve Warshaw?
But yeah, so yeah, that's that, and I'm going to leave that out to revisit that. But the other thing that I grabbed for the show and tell when talking about the women creators is Ramona Fradon.
Oh
Ramona
yeah.
Fradon, also, someone who had lost in very recently, drawing comics her entire life, right up until the end there. And for a couple years, I was on the wait list for a commission. Um, I do have an original piece of art, but it's not the one that I commissioned. Unfortunately, I didn't, make it on the list in time. But I sent in a request for Golden Age Betty Cooper from Archie Comics, and that
Oh,
was
cool.
going because I figured that was going to be something that she would absolutely crush. But I did obtain this off of the website. So here's a Ramona Fradon Penguin from DC Comics.
She
Oh, that
uh
is gorgeous.
she
That's
drew the very first
fantastic.
comic book I ever bought when I was a little kid. I would just read it over and over again.
Oh, really?
Was
It
it
was
Super Friends?
Super Friends, yeah. Yeah.
I was going to ask if it was going to be that or Metamorpho, maybe,
Yeah, no,
or
Super Friends.
Aquaman.
Yeah, cool.
But, but yeah, with the the sources and everything that's cited within Emily's paper there. Once
Hmm.
again, go to the YouTube information in the show notes and stuff,
Yeah.
and
I have
that
a
will be linked up for people to check out.
follow-up question for Emily.
Yeah.
Now that like will the paper be published in a collection or
Yeah, it is
yeah.
actually. So that was under the award that I got it with.
Mhm.
So it's for the Cornerstone Journal under the University of California, Riverside.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's cool. And you get a copy of it? Or do you have a copy?
I believe it's an online copy. I think that's what it
Online.
is. So they make it
Oh.
accessible too, and that's what makes me the happiest. I feel like everybody
Mhm.
should have access to information and research.
Mhm. Yeah. I um I was looking for it, but and then I found that link for it. I think you must have posted it. That's where I found it.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
put it as soon as I could because I know I'm not entirely sure when the university plans to publish it out
Mhm.
yet. So I'm just showing the version that will be
Yeah.
published through
Yeah.
through
When
that.
I
So
looked, sorry, yeah, when I looked was looking for the journal, I it only had up to 2024 online. I couldn't find 2025 or 2026 yet.
yeah, I'm not too sure when they're gonna officially publish it out, but I think they're well on their way.
Good. Awesome.
Okay, so the next thing we're to jump into what we do on the show is learn more about the origin story of our guest creator here. During this time, I am going to show off some of Emily's artwork that I was sifting through online, things that appealed to me, things that I wanted to highlight and bring attention to everybody. And during that time, Emily, if you kind of want to go through and kind of talk about when art came part of your life, what time of your life, and just kind of the origin story of your artistic journey, if you will. So feel free to dive into that when you are ready. And while you do so, I will have a fun slideshow for everybody.
Yeah, so it art I think has always been with me. Drawing has always been there. I can remember when I first drew something that I knew that was it. That's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I think it was like a character thing I drew. I believe I have it in here in this folder that
Oh
I'm
yeah.
actually drawing on. I'll have to look for it, but I was probably in the fourth grade when I just knew that this was it. This is like I that this is what I'm doing with the rest of my life. But I didn't know exactly what that meant until maybe when I was yeah, I was 13 years old when I met my mentor, Phil Ye, the godfather of the graphic novel. Um, we met at a TED Talk. I'm not sure if you guys know what TED Talks are like
Yep.
presentations. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he actually did one
Oh,
not
that's
too
awesome.
far, and I needed to do community service hours for school, so I ended up going to the talk, and he did this huge presentation about how he went around the world and he painted murals and he did his own comic book and was doing art as a living. And honestly, that amazed me. It was something had never heard of before. I didn't know that people could just make a living off of doing art. But I ended up going up to him and we never went back into the talk. We actually just sat there and we talked for maybe like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh wow.
Um, and he was telling me about, his art and about his journey, but also I felt like I really could relate to it. Um, being a kid that, had no other aspects of wanting to do anything else but art and constantly being told of, you have to do something professional. You have to be either a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher. And that's the only like ever jobs that are really out there. And he completely changed my idea of what that looks like. What does a job look like? A career, really. And we kept in touch ever since. I was until very later that I was like, yeah, again, 18, and I was coming out of high school and I ended up doing this event called ValorCon, and it was the first time that I had seen film, probably almost 7, 8 years. But I think really threw me into the comic book community. It was the first time I ever tabled anywhere. Or actually, I was 17. No, I was 17 actually. First time really tabling anywhere, but it gave me the taste of what it was like to table, to be an artist out there in public, and it was the most amazing feeling. It was like I finally found where it was that I belonged, where I wanted to be all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome. Um, couple of the drawings that I'm throwing in here too, a couple worm drawings, and I know when you and Jevin were working on a lot of them. I think is there like a collage of them too? I think of like I'm trying to think where I saw that if that was
Yeah, I think it came with the Kickstarter. We ended up doing like a huge,
yeah
like a 4x7 or something like that of a bunch of Deweys as him dressed up as so many different things, and um we took some notes from people because they were like, "Oh, I want to see Dewey." Is it? I'm like, "Okay, as long as you back the Kickstarter,
yep
we'll draw your Dewey," and so we did. So that was a really fun collab piece doing that, and I think that just really sparked more of like, well, what else more can Dewey be? What else like will he dress up
Captain
as?
Carrot.
And I just loved that.
Future Anthony will put that because I most likely have mine in a portfolio somewhere. But Future Anthony is having that on the screen right now in post production, and we're back. Um, cool, cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just to go back to your mentor.
Hmm.
That is that like the cartoonists across America?
Yeah, he does Cartoonists Across America, and that's been a huge part of his journey as to promoting literacy through comics, comic
Perfect. Wow.
creating.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a well shared
Hmm.
journey, to be honest, or a well shared thing that we want to push out there is literacy. And I think that was
Hmm.
something that really aligned with when I created Dewey.
Hmm.
Um, and And I think that's been my mission really ever since is just promoting literacy, Dewey being the bookworm that he is, and going out there and just encouraging reading because it's interesting times where that we live in, and I think kids need books.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, great reason. All right. Back to drawing some Snoopy here, even though I was confident that I was going to draw a bunch of them and I had them all sketched out. But it's been fun doing some of the show and tell and reaching for those things that now I have laid out that I can go and reread that comic and everything too. So excellent. All right, we are going to jump into looking at statuses on some drawings. We're going to check in with Matt Hansel.
Yeah, I've got I had three little Snoopy drawings here.
Adorable. I always like seeing the ears where they go when he's running and action
Yes,
stuff like that. So
yes. This was a lot of fun to do this little one here.
That's the one thing that when I've been going into my drawings, I've drawn Snoopy recently too, and I usually start with the nose, and I like kind of exaggerating some of the features, and then just having fun with the ears. So like the dancing one that I got here too is just kind of fun, just to kind of let let those kind of dictate where the drawing goes for the most part. And then those are the ones I have there. We're checking in on Deep Red and oh, there we go.
Joe Cool.
Joe Cool. We have not yet. This is a great transition into
That's great.
talking about Joe Cool. Since Steve Brad, you're the one bringing that to the drawing. If you want to, do you have any Joe Cool facts at all? Do you have any info that you want to give out to everybody?
No, but I was wondering if you guys can think of how many different um, personalities Snoopy has. We've got the World War I flying ace there. We got Joe Cool, and then there's the author at the typewriter mentioned.
Hmm.
And what are some other ones you guys?
There's the lawyer,
A lawyer, right? Yeah,
the
yeah,
insurance salesman.
yeah. And the
Um,
vulture. The vulture was one for a while.
right, right. He also is a master Cub Scout.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
What are this? Yeah, they had a special name, don't they?
Um, they
Eagle Scout.
Scoutmaster or Eagle
Eagle
Scout,
Scouts.
right? The Scoutmaster.
Yeah.
Um,
Eagle or Beagle Scouts?
It's actually Beagle. Yeah, Beagle. It
It
is
is
Beagle.
Beagle.
Yeah.
So I was
He
gonna
has all
say,
the
um,
little
if not, then
birdies.
I was gonna say it's a missed opportunity if they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I actually did come up with a Snoopy alter ego. I'm trying to like find it on my Instagram,
Oh
but
yeah.
I did do a Snoopy noir-esque kind of like little like small comic really.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Um, because I just thought to myself, I'm like, man, the world of Peanuts would totally fit um a noir themed world where
yeah.
Snoopy and Woodstock would be detectives.
Yeah, totally.
And
Yeah.
their chief is Charlie Brown.
He's exasperated all the time. Good grief.
Yeah, that's what there's like
Yeah.
I think a image here it is. It's like
Yeah.
I think Charlie Brown's like taking a whiff and he's like this town ain't what it used to be, Snoopy. Good grief. All
As
right, yeah. I found it. It's like I have like a whole drawing of him going like pow and it's like a huge like pow on the screen. Oh
that's
yeah, him and in the cafe. Yeah, him and Woodstock are having a cup of Joe together as they're looking for clues, and they have to go visit Miss Know-It-All, Lucy, for some underground info.
Oh,
is,
that's awesome.
is that something that you can do on a share screen, or should future Anthony grab that from Instagram?
I can actually do it on the share screen so everybody can see it
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
yes, please
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do it, do it, do it.
So I can
stand
show it
by
right
for share
here.
screen. As somebody who's
Share.
currently reading the Muppet Noir comic, this excites me. So,
I know
oh,
it was so funny because it was like a one-off thing. It's just like it just kind of came to me and I never really did much with it.
I
That's
love
a fun
the
idea.
just the little coat and the little hat on Woodstock there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
that's awesome.
oh that's cool.
I forgot I don't think I did add the Charlie Brown thing. So I was like, I don't know if I want to add this drawing with him smoking a cigarette. I don't know if that's
Oh,
allowed.
sure.
I don't think that's family friendly, but I'll definitely see if I can send that to you. And if I can find it, I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere, that drawing.
If anything, future Anthony will be taking that note right now and sending a message to you in the future if you didn't come across it yet. So cool.
I
Yeah, that's
do I do the only thing I that's popped in my head about Joe Cool you asked me about.
oh yes.
I'm pretty sure he's a 70s. He came in the 70s, based on the style of drawings of him. But I remember there's like one of the animated specials. Like whenever I see Joe Cool, it's just this, there's this like Joe Cool goes through my head. And it must be from one of the specials. That's all I know. That's all I
And
remember.
that I was gonna say that's what I was gonna ask is the if that was something that started just as a merchandise thing or was it a story thing first, if anybody had that info, but Maybe.
It probably was in the comic strip first, but it could have been with the idea of merchandising. Who knows? Oh, wasn't and then also there's the it was popular for a little bit in the 80s. And there had like a revival. You mentioned like the TikTok revival of Snoopy, Emily. Is it
Yeah.
the puffy jacket?
Yeah, the puffy jack.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Snoopy's
came back. And I think
yeah.
I don't know, that's been such an interesting like I think
Mhm.
it's triggering the art histor or the comic historian in me where
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, why is it? Why has Snoopy made this huge comeback?
Hmm.
Why do I want to be like him? Why is it that I relate to him so much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's just the basis of his character. Like Charlie Brown is, he's doom and gloom all the time, but Snoopy's kind of over. Snoopy's got his own personality, his own thing going. Like he doesn't need Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown's just kind of there. But
Yeah.
Snoopy, he's
For
his
supper
own.
time.
Yeah, besides getting food from the football head kid. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Snoopy's got it figured out.
Snoopy does got it figured out. And I think that like goes into um there's only a very few number of popular comic strips when you think about it, and this is a conversation I had with Jevin, where there is a spectrum of comic strips and popularity.
Yeah.
And and it's interesting because I think it was one of the topics where I mentioned Bill Watterson. I believe
Oh
that's
yeah.
the one of the ones I put in, I think.
Yeah.
But so it's Calvin Hobbes on one end, in the middle it's Peanuts, and on the far right end it's Garfield. And so I think it's kind of fascinating when you think of Bill Watterson and Garfield being on polar opposites is how they're marketed.
Oh
So
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Garfield has so much marketing,
Yeah.
but I don't think there's a true basis of like storytelling or anything. It's just kind of like merchandise. But on the way opposite end, there's no merchandise for Calvin Hobbes, but there is such an rich amount of storytelling and artwork for
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yeah.
But in the happy middle, what I think any comic strip artist should strive for is peanuts.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge abundance of storytelling and artwork, but the merchandising goes so hard. It goes to extreme extents. There
Yeah.
is this whole Snoopy merch empire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. And there's an old interview from Jim Davis who did Garfield, and he wanted to do a comic strip about bugs, but he had to figure out what was something he could merchandise because he wasn't really interested in continuing like a long term because he doesn't really draw it anymore by himself, right?
No, he's got
Yeah,
a bunch of assistants that
yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah. And so if you look at the old Garfield, he's pretty uh, big and looks like a cat, and he thought cats would be popular. There's lots dogs are popular, Snoopy's popular, and then Charles Schulz told him it the way to make Garfield even more popular for merchandising is make him walk on 2 feet.
Ah,
And then then you see the change in Garfield merchandise.
nice tip.
Bird because he did that with Snoopy, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those early strips of him just kind of sitting there acting like a normal pup, and
Yeah. And eventually, um,
got up and
look at how he got really when he was really popular is more when he was acting like more human like, right?
yeah.
Walking on 2 feet.
And I love his laugh. I love Snoopy's laugh.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting for putting it into animation. Like in the comic strip, he talks, doesn't he? Like our thoughts anyway. You can see
Right.
his
Yeah.
thoughts. But in the animation, they decided to do that funny voice for him. It's really fun. I love it. Yeah, the laugh really is memorable.
See, that's the kind of question I get when it comes to Dewey, since Dewey doesn't necessarily have a voice. He just kind of,
Yeah.
he has speech bubbles, but a lot of people have asked
Mm.
me if and when he will be animated, who will
Yeah.
voice him. And I think that's always been how I felt about Snoopy. I feel like
Yeah.
I take a lot of inspiration from Snoopy when it comes to Dewey,
Yeah.
but Yeah, it's like how do you bring a voice to a character that doesn't really have one, even though they
Yeah.
are words? It's like you just kind of read them as words. You don't think of a
Mhm.
certain voice when you think of Snoopy.
No.
So I think it's just interesting when you have a character like that. Because it's like when it comes to comics, you already kind of hear the voice coming out of a superhero. There's already kind of that
Yeah.
stereotypical superhero voice. Or when it comes to, I don't know, the damsel in distress, there's already kind of a voice that you hear already. So it's like, how do you put a voice to a character that doesn't really have that kind of stereotype attached to it?
Hmm.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. And wow. All right. You did show it off before, but we're going to have you talk about your progress, Emily, here with your drawing. That's great. Loving that. I love the clouds too, just like the
They're just
shading
kind
of
of
the mark.
in the field.
That's fun. Now, I'm glad this remind me here. Sometimes I forget to ask, but um, your preferred method of drawing. Now we're seeing some physical art here, so if you can kind of talk about your experience with physical art and if you've experienced that, with digital art and what you prefer, or just kind of talk about that as an artist on what your overall thoughts are on that.
Honestly, I love all forms to be honest. I use alcohol markers. This is actually the first time in a while actually I've used color pencils because sometimes I'll use a blend of alcohol markers, but I'll put color pencils on top. But primarily it's been recently digital art, but also watercolors. Um, but other than that, I think those are kind of like my four mediums of use to be honest.
Yeah, and working on the size that you're working on, is that like a 5 by 7 maybe?
Yeah, it's about like probably like a 4 by 6.
Okay. And so do you have any kind of preference when it comes to paper sizes? Like on the show, I often work on these small sketch cards, and that's just my comfort zone. I like working on that. So do you have any kind of preference on how large your canvas gets?
Yeah, I think my preferred size of choice has been 4 by 6. I feel like those are especially when it comes to commissions. I think that one I can actually give like an example. Um, make sure my laptop doesn't fall. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. It's gonna be a little lopsided, but that's okay.
Yeah, our
But
friend Troy on the show, Troy DONGARRA, usually works on 11 by 17 paper here on the show, but he's very recently been doing the sketch card sizes like the ones that I'm working on here, and it's been kind of fun to see someone who works normally prefers working large, and now he's just been kind of doing these small little, you know, and he's knocking it out of the park. So I've been extra fascinated on what kind of people lean towards, and some, you know, whether they feel that they get to stretch more with a larger canvas or if they just like a challenge more with smaller. Okay, we are seeing an example here. We're going to spotlight that for Emily here.
yeah, so this one's more traditional sketch card that I've done. So this is like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Awesome.
Normally I've worked small, I worked big. I don't think I see much of a difference and how I feel about it. Like this is a 4 by 6 that I've done in alcohol markers. Yeah, I really don't have a preference. I think it just depends on what the piece calls for or what I'm in the mood
Yeah.
to use.
Okay, there we go. All right. So, I just happened to look at the clock and see the time is flying on by. To kind of anything else like Snoopy related that anybody wanted to shout out yet that they had, being like, all right, we're finally doing the Snoopy episode. This is the one thing that I've been saving and can't wait to tell everybody. This is your moment here if there's anything that you need to shout out yet.
At this drawing I did of Art Balthazar in Charles Schulz style,
Okay.
and he would often his when he's making comics and trying to hit a deadline, he would say that he was doing vampire hours,
Oh,
working at
yes.
night and sleeping during the day. And so I did one where Snoopy
That's right.
is a vampire and about to pounce on him. So,
That's right. I remember seeing that. Oh, here it is. Oh, cool, cool.
yeah, so I have it here. There.
That's awesome. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I remember seeing that now. Oh, cool. Anybody else have any
Oh, and this last Christmas, I showed you my very first Snoopy merchandise,
yes.
and this is my latest one. It was actually, there's someone in my town who does crocheting. She does really
Oh,
tiny, she does like tiny earrings too and stuff. And so this is she did one Charlie Brown one, but this is my Snoopy one.
Oh, cool.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, all done by hand, one of a kind.
Oh, I love that. And
Mhm.
I'm glad you mentioned that because as I was thinking about what to have for the show here, show and tell and stuff, and I gotta say, one of the most embarrassing things I'm gonna reveal is I don't know if I have any like beyond comic books, like any like Snoopy toys or anything like that. I was looking around unless they're just misplaced, but I was kind of baffled. So just for tonight only, I've got Waldo's dog Woof. I thought that was I figured I would bring Woof to the table here. Because yeah, I went and be like, well, if I had Snoopy, it'd be right over here, and I'm shocked here. So I'm going to make this correction after we sign off this episode tonight, after people go and seek out Emily on social media and follow her and reading her paper and doing all the stuff that we're here to talk about. While all that stuff is happening in the background, I'm going to be making up for my lack of Snoopy around the house. And like I said, I'm ashamed, but this is the moment that I'm owning up to it, and I'm gonna turn
All right.
around and make my life for the better by adding some more Snoopy around the house,
All right.
in addition to these sketch cards.
Oh, there you go.
Now, I had mentioned that. Now, if people were to go and follow Emily, if you want to plug your social media, wherever people can find you online.
Yeah, you can find me on all platforms under Emily Mata Official.
Excellent. And that information will be on the bottom of the screen as well as the in the show notes. Now, with Dewey's Adventures, the strips, and now it was a Kickstarter campaign. Is there any copies out there that people can get, or
Mhm.
was this kind of exclusive to the Kickstarter?
Yeah, no, they could actually pick up a coffee underneath my Ko-fi, which is also linked to my Instagram.
Excellent. And then you're out there on the convention circuit and anything like that. Now, this episode will come out probably within 2 weeks. Is there any kind of? I know your social media said that you're must be awaiting San Diego announcement. Maybe did you apply for San Diego, or how is that?
Yeah, so I will be at San Diego Comic-Con for all days. I just
Oh,
wanted
cool.
to make sure that I was like, okay, we're all confirmed, right? But yes, we are confirmed for San Diego Comic-Con.
So is that your next big event, or if you had anything else to plug for anybody that may be in your area?
Yeah, if you're also in the Southern California area, we're going to be also doing, well, I'm also hosting an event called the Geek Speak Expo.
Oh,
So we'll be doing that in August 8th.
and you also you have a podcast if you want to talk about that and give a shout out to that.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to the Geek Speak show where we talk about all things geeky and nerdy.
And where can people check that out? Is that audio only? Where
Yeah,
can
you
they find
can find us on YouTube, Spotify, I believe, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's like Apple as well. Anywhere where you stream music.
that? Excellent, excellent. All right, and so that's that. We are going to do another round of showing this off here as we are getting close to signing off. Kind of showing off some drawings. Once again, working on these sketch cards. These are the ones that I did here. Feel free to show it off for the audience at home. I'm excited because I still have just as many of these unfinished to do, and I look forward to this weekend of just drawing more Snoopy. And usually, when I do these sketch cards, I'll have like a page of the same character in there for conventions and stuff. And based on this and whatever Snoopy's I have, I think I might end up having 2 to 3 pages of Snoopy for my next show. So I'm excited that there's going to be all these extra options out there for everybody. Thanks to the awesome topic selection from Emily there. Anything else that anybody had to say that we didn't cover? I think I covered everything I needed to on my end.
I can't find my drawings.
Dead air can be removed if people got to think yet. But if there's anything that you had, any questions or things to plug or mention or anything.
All right.
No, I think I'm all good.
All right. Then I think we had covered that. So thank you, Emily, for being on Cartoonist by Night. Obviously, you made your a little cameo appearance within asking a question in a past episode, but this was the appropriate episode to have you on to not only learn all about you, but as well as draw and discuss Snoopy. So thank you for being on Cartoonist by Night.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you
thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. And it's time to go because the sun's starting to come up. So it's time to get back to our day jobs. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, got it. Can't get the thing closed.
We are the Crystal Gems.
Okay,
I was crossing my eyes.
It's supper time.